over there, kid. That's where the people spent their first night when they came to this country.
Did you stay there, Gus?
I was born in Tennessee, you know that. Aren't you supposed to call me Grandpa?
I like Gus better. Why did they come here, Grandpa?
Gus.
Gus.
Gus. Well, they came here with a dream, kid. A dream of freedom and justice.
What's freedom and justice?
Freedom is a bird in flight, and justice is so no one hurts the bird.
Got your tickets and everything?
Everything. The agent in the file says the gemstones are absolutely exquisite.
Mm. Did you think about the offer?
Howard, Spillane's money is not legitimate.
So he has a lot of diversified holdings. Does that make him a crook?
Yes. When it's diversified up from the gutter.
Oh, Dan, you're not being fair. Please, look, we make him a partner. But with his kind of capital, we could end up with a fortune.
A partner? What's wrong with what we have?
Daniel, you are a dyed-in-the-wool bachelor. You know, you're content with your travels and with the museums and music festivals. You lead a very cultured life. But Molly and I, we would like more. Is that so wrong? Talk to him. What do we got to lose?
All right, all right, all right. Maybe it is all rumor about his underworld activities. When I get back from Nepal.
Oh, no. That's 2 weeks. I mean, deals like this don't hang around forever. He wants to have dinner with you tonight.
But I have a plane to catch, clothes to pack.
In 3 hours? Sure, but that's plenty of time. He said he'd be waiting for you at the Genoa restaurant, you know, down on Mulberry.
And you?
No, this is just the two of you. Daniel, you have always been the decision maker in the family. And whatever decision you make it's going to be okay with me. Now, go on, I'll lock up.
My little brother, with his Rockefeller fantasy.
Molly and I are having dinner at 21 tonight. Would you call me before you get on the plane?
Hey, man, it's cold out here. This Dillman near coming. Let him know. Let him time.
Hey, man, what are you doing? We're not supposed to rob him.
Hey, baby, this is a $300 coat. Besides, it's cold out here. Now grab his arm. Get the dude up, man. Come on. I'm trying, man. This dude would have to be a stiff. Get the arm out the coat, man, and don't wrinkle it up. Come on, man. Get his arm out. Let's do it, man. Okay. Stop it! Get it! Get up in the hand, man. Get it! Get white pig! Get it! Stop the cracker, man. Get it! Okay, come on, let's get the hell out of here, man.
What do I believe in? I believe in equal right under the law. And if I'm elected your district attorney, I'll do everything in my power to prosecute the criminal. And, of course, keep down the spiraling cost of justice in our courtrooms. My number one priority, the organized crime.
Everybody in.
We must distinguish between the so-called romance of the mafia and the harsh reality of organized crime.
Who are you going to vote for, Gus? Curly or the other guy?
Oh, I don't know. Politicians are politicians. They all look alike to me.
Why don't you run?
Because I don't trust politicians.
Yes.
If I ran, I'd be placed in a position of not trusting myself.
Out.
I wouldn't want that, would I? I'll open.
I'll see the openers. I'll fold.
Cards to the gambler.
I'll play the...
Okay.
I'll play these. Playing these.
I'll have two.
Hello?
Oh, you're playing how many cards?
Hold on a second, please. Dad, for you, Sergeant Shipman.
There you go. Every time I get a good hand. Well, yeah, bud.
Gus, homicide at 616 Mulberry Street.
Okay, I'll be right there.
It was dark, but it was early. It was about 8 o'clock. I was watching the television. Oh, God.
Anything? No evidence. I got two witnesses.
Okay. All of a sudden, I started hearing shouts as he grabbed me. Oh, it was awful. One of them kept saying, hit him again.
They cleaned him out. No credit cards, no money, nothing. Just a guy laying there with a suit and a tie. We're going to check the tags on his clothes. That's all we can do.
What about his overcoat? Cold night. The man must have been wearing an overcoat.
I don't know. The muggers must have taken it along with the rest of the stuff. What's the matter, Gus?
I don't know. I just never get used to it.
Sir, Sergeant Delaney wants you to hear the corroborating witness.
Gus Brenner, district attorney's office.
Alex Lesko, glad to know you, Mr. Brenner.
What the lady says, is that what you saw?
Oh, yeah, what she says is the truth.
That's kind of unusual, isn't it? A black man at night on Mulberry Street?
Very unusual. But they were here tonight, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, yes, sir.
It is unusual. Black man at night on Mulberry Street. 6 blocks from 8th, maybe. Something strange.
Well, all the witnesses say they were black.
Yeah.
Who you voted for, sir?
Man, we still got secret ballot in this town, haven't we, Jerry?
You still refuse to endorse either candidate?
Oh, come on. I'll spell it out for you one last time, okay? I'm retiring. I'm old, and I'm tired, and I'm gonna go. Now, I think both candidates make very good district attorneys, okay?
We understand that,
That's
sir. What
the
we want-
end of the interview. Goodbye, media. Come on up here, Gus.
Morning, Major.
I can tell something's in your mind.
Federal court in Washington let Alan Wheeler off yesterday.
I know. Too bad.
He's still in violation of the state election laws.
Well, you going after him?
He hustled contributions from his New York office, and he's a New York resident. I can make the case.
Politicians, Gus.
All the more reason.
2 more days. I'll be on my way to Florida, a condominium on the beach. Maybe you and the new DA can bite into that together, huh?
Politicians never bite into anything.
Come on. You forget that I'm a politician.
You don't look it. Major, I wish you wouldn't quit.
Well, you'll still be here, Gus.
Maybe.
We've been together a long time. You still got a lot of juice left. Don't quit.
We'll see.
Gus? Keep in touch.
How long are you going to be observing this, Tommy?
Well, I'm afraid you're going to be stuck with me for a month.
Oh, then what?
Well, then I'm going to be working under Miss Malloy in the sex crime section.
That's pretty grim stuff for a young lady.
Not as grim as being.
Oh, touche.
Morning, Bud. JD?
Yes. Morning, Gus. Gus Brenner, Darlene Lawrence. She just joined the department.
Oh, good for us.
Thank you.
Somebody nice to look at.
Thank you.
Morning, Louise.
Morning.
Where'd you study?
St. John's.
Good law school. Nice to have you. Well, what do we got on our Mulberry Street picked up?
Nothing.
Best coffee in the whole building.
Make her feel no, thanks.
Will do, Louise.
Things like that.
Check pawn shops. See if a couple blacks pawned an overcoat.
We're right on top of it.
What else we got today?
Stabbing. Puerto Rican lady on Upper Broadway.
How long ago?
About an hour.
Isn't Brenner head of rackets?
Oh, yeah, that he is.
Well, I thought that everybody was supposed to work according to department section.
We'll take a look.
Okay. Gus is different. He's the Joe Willie Namath around here. Gets his star treatment.
man, honey.
Yeah, sure was.
JD?
Yes.
We got to find out who this man is. We're going to check out the Puerto Rican stabbing.
Okay, you got it.
See you, JD.
Okay, Bud, take it easy. Oh, Gus, don't forget to vote.
Do you mean that he is personally going to the scene of the stabbing?
Well, he feels if he's going to make a case, you got to know all the facts. For Gus, it's like going to church.
I want to thank the people of Manhattan for electing me. I will do my utmost to live up to your trust and to maintain the fine record of my illustrious predecessor. Thank you.
In other news, a federal court in Washington, D.C. today dismissed the campaign contribution charge against Alan Wheeler. And Rabbi Meir Kahane...
She asleep? That's good. You sure this operation is necessary? I mean, did the doctor say that she wouldn't heal?
The doctor said it wouldn't heal properly without it. It's not a difficult operation.
Hate to see a little girl like that in a cast all that time.
Dad, it's settled. She goes into the hospital tomorrow.
Okay. Well, here's to Dr. What's his name. I hope he knows what he's doing. Here's to you, pal.
You know, you haven't even met him yet. I really think you should give him a chance.
Who?
The new DA. You don't even know him.
I know he's a politician. I know that's trouble. That's all I need to know.
Dad, Kitty's going to be fine, and so are you, and so will Corelli. You just have to remember that the major was 1 in a million.
Yeah, he was. Wally, we've got to have a copy of that Alan Wheeler transcript from Washington, and that's all there is to that. Okay. Anything more on the Puerto Rican lady, Bud?
No, Rudy and Gillis, they're taken care of.
Louise! If my daughter calls, put her through, okay? Okay. Well, J.D., anything on the guy from Mulberry Street?
Nothing.
Nothing? What about his shirt? It's a laundry mark.
New shirt.
You're kidding. What about his other clothes?
Well, his suits come from Saks Fifth Avenue, $300 bracket. The only problem is we don't know what store he bought it from.
Did you show him his picture?
Yeah, the Saks Fifth Avenue on Manhattan. Nobody there recognized him. So, we're going to try the other stores.
Surely somebody's called missing persons by now.
Nobody fitting his description.
Well, what about his overcoat, the pawn shops?
Well, we're on that, and we've been on it, and so far, zip.
Sergeant Hoffman about Prince.
I'll get it for you, Gus.
Brenda's office. Yeah, this is J.D. Thanks, Sergeant. They can't make this guy's Prince in Albany or Washington.
Now, here's a man, according to his autopsy, in his early 50s. Healthy man. At least he was until somebody hit him over the head with a piece of pipe. Now, he's probably got a family. Someone who loves him somewhere. Is it asking too much for us to find out who he is?
We are trying.
Gus, the new DA is on 3.
Oh.
Busy.
Yeah.
You, met him yet?
Hmm?
The new DA, have you met him?
No. Well, let's go over this Wheeler file and see what we've got.
It's a very good choice, Mrs. Driscoll.
Yes, I'll take this one. Charge it, Howard, and send it over, would you please?
Certainly, Mrs. Driscoll.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye. Mr. Spillane.
How? You talked to your brother?
No, he never called me.
Well, yeah, that's understandable. He said he was rushing off to the airport. But our talk went very well. In fact, it went so well, he told me to draw up the papers and give them to you.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's really wonderful. You know, I knew if he met with you, he'd change his mind. So I'll just have the lawyer look at these.
Well, by all means, and I'm sure he's going to tell you you made an excellent deal. Have a good day, Howard.
You too, Mrs. Spillane.
Yeah?
Shift men on 2.
Yeah, Bud?
They found the guy's coat.
Where?
Pawn shop on 125th Street. The owner's on his way to the mugroom.
I'll be right there.
Here's the other one.
You sure?
Positive. What'd you give him for the coat? 50.
Okay.
Wally? Anything on that Wheeler stuff?
Yeah, I haven't been back from Washington yet.
They got it all together down there, don't they? Call them again.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, your daughter called from the hospital.
Get her for me, will you?
Oh, the DA called again.
Tell him I'm gone.
Oh, hello, Susan. Your father's calling. Your daughter!
Susan?
Oh, yes, Dad.
Is she all right?
The doctor says she's going to be fine.
Is she in pain?
No, a little dopey. She's going to be out of it until tomorrow, but don't worry.
Okay, good. I'll be over in a little while. Give her a big kiss for me.
Okay, fine.
I found the 2 suspects.
Yeah?
And the Queen's Slammer.
Queens?
Yeah. They ripped off a bar last night.
Oh, we gotta get them in a lineup. Louise!
I'll get him.
Who?
The Queen's DA. You want him, don't you?
Yeah. Go pick him up. I'll square.
Okay.
Oh, what about the label in the overcoat?
Oh, yeah, Maury's, up on East 47th. Rudy and Gillis, they're up there right now.
Okay, good.
Gus, I got him. He's on one.
Frank, how goes the war?
Now, just take your time, Mr. Lesko, and relax. They can't see you.
The one on the end, number 6. I think he's one of them.
You think?
I'm pretty sure. No, I'm positive. I'm positive.
All right. Anybody else?
All right, thank you for your time.
Yes, sir.
Bring in Mrs. Moore. Come in, Miss Moore. Sit right down. Hi. Give me the coat. See everything?
Did Mr. Lesko identify them?
Oh, we can't say. You look them over very carefully and tell us if you recognize anybody. Okay? All right, go ahead.
Oh, yes, number 2. That's the face. Definitely. Number 2.
All right. What about the other man?
Well, maybe,
Maybes won't do.
Well, then I can't be sure. But number 2, definitely.
All right. Thank you, Mrs. Moore.
Hey.
Yeah, I thought. Okay if I talk with him?
I'll ask him.
All right, that's all. Let him go. Hold 2 and 6.
I'm Richard Hager with the Public Defender's Office. These gentlemen would like to ask you a couple of questions. You got nothing to say.
It'll be a homicide charge.
I'll tell them.
I'm Gus Brenner from the District Attorney's Office. 2 witnesses just identified you as leaving the scene of a murder on Mulberry Street. You still want to remain silent?
Man, ain't nothing to say.
You'll be facing murder charges. Talk some sense into that.
Lock him up.
We'll go before the grand jury in the morning.
That's pretty thin for a homicide, Gus.
Thin for a conviction, but not for an indictment.
Okay, you got it. Gus! You're never gonna believe this.
What?
They made bail.
It was $100,000.
They made it.
Who put it up?
Some bail bondsman up in Harlem.
$100,000? Something strange about those 2 guys. Be sure there's a tail on them.
You got it.
I ask you to look at those photographs. Grand jury exhibits A and B, already entered into evidence. Tell me if you recognize the individuals in those photographs.
Yes. These are the 2 men who pawned this coat on January 31st.
Thank you. The coat is exhibit C, already entered into evidence. Thank you. Call Mrs. Moore.
Miss Moore, would you please come to the stand? Hey.
Raise your right hand, please. Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth for the people of the state of New York versus Ace Hendricks and Mitchell Small?
Yes, I do.
Be seated, please.
Ms. Moore, you recognize the individuals in those photographs?
One of them, yes. One of them was one of the men I saw that night on Mulberry Street.
Excuse me, would that be the night of January 30th?
Yes, the night of January 30th. Right after I heard these loud shouts just outside my stairwell, saying, "Hit him, hit him."
Did you identify the individual in the lineup?
Yes, I did.
Was either of the individuals carrying this coat?
Well, one of the men had a coat draped over his arm, but I can't say positively that was the coat.
Thank you, Miss Moore. You must step down. It's my duty to ask your grand jury to deliberate on whether you should return an indictment against Mitchell Small and Ace Hendricks based on the evidence presented. You're satisfied the evidence presented provides reasonable cause to believe each of these individuals committed the crime of murder, which I previously defined for you. Then you would be warranted in returning an indictment against each of them. You're to vote separately on each individual.
Thank you, Mr. Brenner. I'll request your appearance after we have voted. We shall recess for 10 minutes.
Well, if the mountain won't come to Muhammad, then, I looked up your record. Very interesting. Man comes all the way from Tennessee, finishes, what, in the top 10 in his class at Cornell, joins the DA's office, becomes chief prosecutor, stays on for 20 years.
You have your facts straight.
Oh, by the way, I understand you're seeking an indictment against Alan Wheeler?
I've been thinking about it.
Yeah, well, let me sit on that for a while, then.
Why?
Oh, I can see why you're a good prosecutor.
Some things have to be dealt with head on. Why do you want to sit on it for a while?
Look, Wheeler is a noted businessman. He's been an advisor to the president. Apparently, he violated some campaign funding statutes. But he's already been judged by the federal court. Been disgraced by the congressional hearings. If we seek an indictment against him, it'll look like we're out to get him.
I am.
What are you going to get him on? Conspiracy to violate the state election law concerning contributions? Even eminent jurists say that's vague.
Vague, my eye. It isn't vague to me. It wasn't vague to him. The tap on his phone clearly shows that he willfully broke the state law.
I don't see where Wheeler's case falls under the purview of the racket section.
Oh, come on, racket section. Alan Wheeler's had too much power and he's abused it, and he's going to have to pay the price like anybody else.
Excuse me, Gus. It's important.
My associate, J.D. Johnson. Shake hands with your new boss.
Pleased to meet you.
Yep.
Shipman would like to see you right away.
Be right there. This office you're sitting on is a big monster. There are 200 lawyers, all overworked, most underpaid. What keeps us going are the shots we get every now and then at the big cats. Alan Wheeler's one of them. What do you got?
You know where our man is? The salesman at Maury's made the photos. His name is Daniel Bronstein. He had the coat made there about a year ago. Now, the reason the salesman remembers him is he was very picky, you know? Now, Bronstein and his brother, they own an import shop over on 5th.
Okay.
Patch me through to Sergeant Schiffman, DA squad. Bud, suspect's moving downtown and in a hurry.
We're rolling.
Suspects are on the island.
We got him ready. Hey, look at that. Al Lanier.
Oh, yeah.
That's Spillane's underboss.
Yeah, Louis Spillane. Oh, I see.
Oh, come on, Gus. Don't start dreaming now.
What are you worrying about?
Listen to them.
Oh, it was just a fluke that you got caught.
A fluke. A fluke. We got caught, didn't we?
Did you kill the guy? No. They just got your pen for taking the coat. Period.
That still means time, man.
Yeah, well, the worst you can get is a year. But don't worry, we'll take care of everything. Just like we took care of the bail bond. But remember, you did take the coat. You were told to take nothing.
I wonder what he didn't set right with him.
I don't know.
Something.
It was a $300 coat. Hey, man, just forget it, man. Forget it. What do you want? Hey, man, just forget it.
I'm sorry about your brother. If there was anything I could do...
No, nothing.
I hope this doesn't interfere with our agreement.
Our agreement? Oh, well, to tell you the truth, I really...
It's an even more attractive offer now, isn't it?
What do you mean?
Well, it provides you with security. And it wouldn't be so heavy a burden.
Yes, I suppose that's true.
These are the tragic realities that we all have to deal with sooner or later in this life.
Who got the indictment?
Our old friend, Brenner.
Even that hayseed can't make the murder charge stick.
Hey, Hardy, how come you're so smart? Behind that hayseed front, he knows every law in the city, down to the subparagraphs.
Well, Small and Ace, they know they're going to be taken care of.
I can't take that chance. This goes no further than the blacks.
Not now. Let him go a while.
Hi, sweetheart. How is she?
Oh, she's fine. She's fine.
Gee, I wish I...
Hi, Gus. What do you got?
Hi, kid. How you feel?
My leg hurts. What do you got?
Where?
There.
Oh, there? Gee, I don't know. A guy stopped me on the street. Says, I hear your granddaughter's got a sore leg. Maybe this will make her feel better.
Wow, what a neat rabbit. Is he mine?
I guess so.
What's your name? What's his name?
Rufus.
Hi, Rufus.
Well, I'll get it.
Good evening. Not disturbing you, am I?
No.
Oh, can I come in?
Oh, yeah. Come on. Fix you a drink?
Oh, no, thanks. I'm dining with the mayor and his financial staff.
Doesn't the mayor and his financial staff drink anymore?
No, it's not that, Gus. I just don't have a lot of time.
Oh. Well?
Oh, a member of Alan Wheeler's law firm dropped by. He left me a substantial contribution to my campaign. He wanted to know whether I was going to indict his partner or not.
What'd you tell him?
Told him I wouldn't discuss it.
I'd have thrown him out of the office.
Well, that's probably why I'm the DA and you're the prosecutor.
Probably.
You're the best one I got, you know that. It'll take the best to knock off Wheeler and his lawyers.
You sure you don't have time for...
Oh, no. Gracie Mansion call.
Oh, yeah. Be careful, they might lift your wallet.
Man, what you running to? Man, this broad, man, looked over at me and said, hey, man.
I ain't no broad looked over to you, dude.
So,
You always talking about some broad looking over
man,
at you.
I said, I ain't never done that before myself either. So,
man, look at this cat. Oh, is this the man coming after us? Now, be cool. We're gonna move it, but...
Oh, man,
hey, just take it easy.
Man.
We're gonna go easy.
Man,
you just get ready, man. Just take it easy. Get ready to stretch out. Get ready to stretch out now.
I think you ought to move up to Syracuse with Eddie and me, then you'd have somebody to look after you. Clean up your kitchen.
Yeah.
Mitchell Small called. He wants us to take him in.
Where is he?
Where you can't go alone. I'll pick you up.
Okay.
Out of bounds in here, Hunk.
We're looking for Mitch Small.
Well, it ain't nobody in here for you. No way.
Hold it, Az. You, J.D.?
Yeah.
That's all right. Come on. He's back there.
To a hospital, because they got their own people in the joint.
Well, that leg, the hospital's where you ought to be. Better get an ambulance.
Is this dude for real? He says it happens. It happens. They shot Ace to pieces on 119th Street.
Who?
Al Lanier.
Hey, Wally. Where'd you get that tie?
I got it. This one?
Yeah, thanks. Hey, Bud, what about that Puerto Rican lady?
We got a problem there. The witnesses are giving conflicting testimonies. I mean, I don't know what to do with that thing, Gus.
You gotta stay with it.
Okay.
What about that Wheeler stuff?
I'm having trouble with it.
Yeah?
Yeah, the Attorney General's office in Washington. They don't want to let it go unless you have an indictment.
They said that?
Well, not exactly, but it was implied, you know.
They never say anything exactly, do they? Serve the Attorney General's office a subpoena for that evidence.
Yeah, maybe that'll move their keisters, I don't know.
Hey, Wally.
Hi, Judy.
Where'd you get that tie?
Gus, Mitchell Small's in the hospital's leg wounds taken care of.
Good. What kind of security?
Private room, under guard.
File a release on his indictment.
Okay. I have a copy here of the agreement between the Braunstein brothers.
Yeah?
Whichever one dies first, the survivor takes total control of the business.
Talk to Howard Braunstein. See how many times he met with Louis Spillane.
Well, we have a case against Lanier, but if you're thinking Spillane...
I'm thinking Spillane. I'm thinking Spillane all the way.
Well, that's not going to work.
Why not? Think it through.
Okay. Spillane orders a hit on Daniel Braunstein, because he won't sell out.
That's right.
Then he made it look like a mugging, so his brother could live with himself.
That's right.
But guys like Lanier are not going to sell out their bosses.
That's right.
Well, how are you going to make a case?
People of California versus Charles Manson. Case illustrates the principle that a person who exerts control over another can be found guilty on circumstantial evidence.
Then you have to take Lanier before the grand jury.
That's right.
How are you going to make him incriminate himself?
I'm not.
I can't believe that, Mr. Brenner. Why would Spillane do such a horrible thing?
A man like Louis Spillane does what he has to.
But he came in here the next day. Said that Dan had accepted the offer.
That's right. But you hadn't spoken to your brother, see? That was his plan, to get your name on this contract before your brother showed up dead. He didn't quite bring that off. But he does have you convinced it was just a mugging you ought to sign anyway.
Not if he had anything to do with my brother's death.
That's what he's betting on, that there is no proof.
But we're importers of jewelry, nothing more. I mean, why would he kill to get our business?
That's why. Your import license. An import license is very valuable to organized crime. Spillane can't bring anything out of Hong Kong anymore. He's looking to bring it from somewhere else. You do a lot of business in Tibet and Nepal. He's got $10 million in drugs just sitting on the border, waiting to be packed in with your little gems.
How do you know this?
Oh, same way I know that you and your wife spend more money every month than you take in.
I don't see what that has to do with anything.
Only that if I know it, you could bet Spillane knows it. That's why I contacted you in the first place, Mr. Braunstein. You're a perfect setup for him.
Well, if you find proof, I'd like to know about it.
You want to believe Spillane, don't you?
It's not that I want to believe him.
You just don't want to believe he had anything to do with killing your brother. That'd spoil your chances at the big money, wouldn't it?
Now, you wait just a minute.
Come on, Howard. You know Spillane's behind it.
What do you want from me?
I need your testimony.
Are there any problems?
I can't be sure, Louis. Brenner might be able to piece together an indictment, but not a conviction.
Well, then there were no problems. If there was trouble, I could handle it. Hey, Al.
Yeah. Well, you got that guy Small in the prison hospital. Thanks, sweetheart.
Try the Bourguignon, that's good.
Yeah. If he talks, I'm done. All right? You didn't want. What do you want?
Tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock, grand jury.
Yeah, well, I can't make it. I'm busy tomorrow.
Tell him.
Do I have to?
It's a subpoena. You don't have any choice.
Hey, Gus, what's the matter? You don't have one for me?
I couldn't do that. You're the subject of the inquiry. Tell him.
Let me see that out. Inquiry. into the alleged criminal activities of low spying. So what else is new?
Well, they can force Al to answer some questions.
And what's Al going to say?
Hey, what's Al gonna say? He ain't gonna say nothing.
Well, you can't have a lawyer in there. Be careful, they'll nail you for contempt.
Hey, counselor, I've been there before. Don't tell me nobody's gonna force me to do nothing.
I'll check around town and see what Brenna's got.
Yeah, check around. I don't know where you get these guys. Honey, I've been coming here for 20 years. 20 years I'm coming here. Why do you bring me a menu? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that. Remind me to give her a big tip, will you? But listen, that black guy, he's gonna...
Don't worry about the black. He's not going to testify.
Dr. Monroe, surgery. Dr. Monroe, surgery.
Doctor, the patient in the security room is really complaining about pain.
Nurse Wise, pick up 5.
Yes? Yes. Yes, I will. About 20 minutes? All right. Mm-hmm.
Dr. Kahn, pediatrics. Dr. Kahn, pediatrics. Dr. Ryder, emergency. Dr. Ryder, emergency.
Oh, Doc! It feels like somebody's twisted a knife in my leg.
This'll take care of it.
When did you first meet Louis Spillane?
3 months ago in November, the 4th of November to be exact.
Under what circumstances, Mr. Bronstein?
I was lunching alone in the caravel, and Mr. Spillane introduced himself. He said he'd been in our store. He said that he was on the lookout for investments in a, limited partnership type situation.
I see, looking for investments. Did that seem unusual to you?
No, not at all.
Did you check Spillane out?
Oh, yes, we ran a Dun & Bradstreet on him. He's a very wealthy man with several companies under his control.
You were willing to accept his offer?
Yes, it was.
What about your brother Dan?
Well, he had heard stories to the effect that Mr. Spillane had organized crime connections.
I didn't quite hear that.
I beg your pardon. I said he'd heard that Mr. Spillane had organized crime connections.
Aha. Aha. Did it end there?
No, it didn't, because Mr. Spillane persisted. Finally, he wanted to meet with my brother, to assure him, and I told him that Daniel was leaving the country on a buying trip.
When did that conversation take place?
On January 29th. I told him Daniel was leaving the following day. He'd be gone for a couple of weeks.
All right. Then what happened, Mr. Bronstein?
On the 30th, Mr. Spillane called me again, requesting a dinner conference with my brother for that evening.
That evening? Would that be the evening your brother was to have left the country?
Yes.
Did you relay this to your brother?
Yes, I did. In fact, the last time I saw him, he was on his way to meet Mr. Spillane.
And you didn't go to dinner with him?
No. Mr. Spillane thought it best if he met with my brother alone.
Why was this?
It was up to Daniel.
I see. Thank you, Mr. Bronstein. That'll be all. You may step down. People of New York, call Alfred Lanier to the stand.
Raise your right hand, please. Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth for the people of the state of New York versus Louis Spillane?
Yeah, sure.
Mr. Lanier, the people of New York are investigating the homicide death of Daniel Bronstein. The purpose of this investigation is to ascertain whether or not Louis Spillane is responsible for that murder.
Well, so what do you want from me? I don't know anything about that.
Do you know Louis Spillane? Mr. Lanier, you're aware that by appearing before this grand jury today, you're required to answer certain questions or face a possible contempt citation.
Yeah, I'm aware of that.
Then I'll repeat the question. Do you know Louis Spillane?
Well, to say the truth, yeah, I met him a couple of times. He came to my place and brought his laundry.
Do you work for him?
Yeah, I work for him. I work for a lot of people. I told you, I'm in the laundry business.
These are copies of a legally authorized phone tap recorded from Mr. Lanier's telephone in which he was talking with Mr. Spillane. It was authenticated yesterday by the officer who made the tap, and it clearly establishes that Lanier works for Spillane. Now, Mr. Lanier, on December 27th, did Spillane instruct you to make a collection from a Mr. Chadwick who was late in his loan payment?
Is that what it says in there?
Just answer the question.
I don't recall.
You're going to have to do better than that, Mr. Lanier.
I don't recall.
How can you not recall whether you worked for him?
Hey, I don't know. Something's the matter with me. I don't remember anything.
You refuse to answer the question? Good. Mr. Foreman, I move that Alfred Lanier be cited for contempt.
I agree.
You must step down.
Call your next witness.
People in New York call Michael Anderson. Mr. Anderson worked for the President's Task Force Against Organized Crime.
Good news. The Wheeler case was just sent down from Washington.
Great. Let's get it ready for the grand jury.
Raise your right hand, please. Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth for the people of the state of New York versus...
Excuse me, but I have to speak to Mr. Brown.
Go ahead.
Thank you.
What?
Yeah. Mitchell Small. They went to give him his breakfast. He's dying yet.
He's dying, huh?
They don't know, they're not sure, but they think it's an overdose of morphine.
Morphine? Who gave it to him?
Dr. Vintner. Now, he claims it was an accident.
Accident, my foot. Get him.
J.D.
Mr. Pope.
Yes.
Excuse me. I wonder if you could call a recess and go with me over to the police hospital. Sure.
We will recess for 30 minutes.
As the foreman has informed you, the last witness to be called for the people died an hour ago. But the foreman took his oath a few minutes before his death, in which Mitchell Small related that 2 days ago, when he was taken into custody, I videotaped his story. His oath testifies to the truth of the tape, which I now ask you to accept in evidence.
Mr. Hager, has your client been informed of his rights in this matter?
He has.
Are the statements he'll make of his own free will?
They are.
Mitchell?
Al Lanier came to us on the afternoon of January 30th. Me and Ace Hendricks. He said he had a job he wanted us to do, but he paid him was $300 if we go with him down on Mulberry Street that night. And after he and his men offered some dude, we were to make a ruckus over the body. And I remember it was very important that we make enough noise so that somebody would remember seeing a couple of black dudes running away from the scene.
Was Louis Spillane's name mentioned by Al Lanier or any of his men?
Oh, just to kind of sweeten the pot, he did mention that our work would be appreciated by Mr. S.
Did you know who he was referring to?
Yeah. See, around Harlem, Spillane's the man. I mean, he controls all of the drug traffic.
What happened to your friend Ace Hendricks?
Ace was gunned down on 119th Street. by Lanier and his men.
You were witness to this.
Oh, yeah.
That concludes the presentation of the evidence. If you're satisfied that the evidence presented provides reasonable cause to believe that Louis Spillane conspired to commit and execute the crime of murder, then you'd be warranted to return an indictment against him. I now ask you to vote on this case.
Excuse me, are you Dr. Bittner?
Yes?
I'm Sergeant Schiffman. This is Mr. Johnson from the District Attorney's office. We'd like to talk to you.
What about?
About the death of Mitchell Small.
Mitchell Small? Oh, yeah. What is it you wanted to ask me about?
According to the autopsy report, he died of an overdose of morphine.
Yeah, I know. Well, he asked for a painkiller. I really can't believe I gave him too much. It's terrible. It's just terrible.
Doctor, do you know Louis Spillane?
Spillane? Would you excuse me for just a minute?
You're right, buddy. Strung out.
You better believe it.
No. Oh, no.
Not tonight, pal.
What about the indictment?
No comment.
Does Brenner have a case?
Please, no comment.
Gus Brenner, as he has in the past, is out to get me. But justice will be served and I will be exonerated for the simple reason that I have done nothing to violate the law. Look out.
How many cc's of morphine do you ordinarily administer?
3.
The autopsy shows that Mitchell Small was injected with 4 times that amount.
I have no explanation for that. It was just one of those terrible accidents. I have no idea how it happened.
Your Honor, Dr. Ventnor was called as a witness for the people. We now consider him to be a hostile witness. I request permission to cross-examine him.
Permission granted. Proceed.
Okay, Dr. Ventnor, isn't it true that you owe the defendant, Louis Spillane, $10,000?
Objection.
Isn't it also true that you have a drug problem, and that's why
Objection,
you owe him
Your
the
Honor.
money?
There's no foundation for this line of questioning.
I'm trying to establish domination resulting in conspiracy. Your Honor, this man's a drug
Your Honor, I
addict.
strenuously object to this line of questioning.
Objection sustained. Mr. Brenner, you'll confine your examination of this witness to the events taking place in the prison ward of the hospital.
Yes, sir. For purposes of demonstration, my assistant has filled this vial with colored water. Now, Doctor, show us how you draw 3 cc's into the syringe here, as you thought you did the night Mitchell Small died. Now, draw 9 more cc's into the syringe. The amount that was, in fact, administered to Mitchell Small. That's quite a difference, isn't it?
Yes?
full.
Yes, sir.
You still maintain it was an accident?
Yes. It was.
I have no further questions of this witness.
Doctor.
I was hoping he'd come on.
Are accidental
Obviously,
overdoses
Gus.
as
Someone
rare
must have
as
got a
the
load of smack to
prosecutors
that
think
creep
they are?
in jail.
Well, sir, they're not an everyday occurrence, but they're not as rare as you might think.
What is the color of liquid morphine?
It's clear, colorless.
Then the mistake would not be as evident as in the prosecutor's demonstration, in which he used colored water. Is that correct?
Yes, sir, it is.
Thank you, Doctor. That'll be all.
You may step down.
The people rest their case.
Mr. Leonard, do you have any witnesses you wish to call for the defense?
Only one, Your Honor. Louis Spillane.
Raise your right hand.
Why is the defense calling for Louis Spillane?
Because Gus already established the links for conspiracy. Leonard has got to try to make some kind of defense. And if there's any doubt in the jury's mind, Leonard's got to try to use it for Spillane's advantage.
Mr. Spillane, would you tell the court specifically the offer you made to the Bronstein brothers?
Our company offered to buy 49% of their business, for which we would have paid $200,000. We would have also placed at their disposal an additional $100,000 to help the Bronsteins expand their import business.
49%. Well, that means that they would have maintained control.
Right. This was strictly an investment. The Bronsteins were not in any way being moved out. In fact, the contract specifically stated they were to continue operating the business.
Did you ever threaten either of the brothers in case they didn't accept your proposal?
Of course not.
Did you ever meet or make contact with Mitchell Small?
No, sir, I did
Ace
not.
Hendricks?
No.
Alfred Lanier?
Well, Mr. Lanier operates a laundry a few blocks from a restaurant in which I have an interest.
Does Mr. Lanier work for you?
No, sir, he does not.
Mr. Spillane, did you order the death of Mitchell Small?
No, I did not.
Ace Hendricks?
No.
Daniel Bronstein?
No, I did not.
Your witness.
Mr. Spillane, how long have you lived in New York?
All my life.
Have you ever been convicted of a crime?
Never, in spite of your attempts to discredit me.
Do you admit knowing Howard and Daniel Bronstein?
Of course.
Did Daniel Bronstein resist your offer to buy into the business?
His brother mentioned that he did.
Ah. Did Daniel Bronstein verify that at your dinner together?
Well, he mentioned that he had some objection to my alleged underworld activities. But I managed to persuade him that what he heard was not true.
I see. So, when he left you after your dinner together on the evening of January 30th, he was no longer against your offer?
That's correct.
What time did you and Daniel Bronstein finish dinner?
7:30 or thereabouts. I don't recall exactly.
Oh, you of course have witnesses at the restaurant that'll testify to that.
That's right.
Okay, you recall what Daniel Bronstein ate for dinner?
Objection, Your Honor.
Overruled. Answer the question, Mr. Spillane.
A veal dish of some kind. How can I remember exactly?
I mean, did he have soup or salad or dessert?
Yeah, but I don't think he had dessert. He was rushing off to the airport.
Oh, you knew of his flight before your dinner together?
Yes, his brother mentioned it, as he already testified.
I have no further questions of this witness.
Redirect, Mr. Leonard?
No, Your Honor.
You may step down, Mr. Spillane.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Your Honor, the defense rests. We would like to point out to the court that the state has not proven its case beyond a reasonable doubt, despite the defendant taking the stand. At this time, we ask for a dismissal of the charges.
Mr. Brenner?
The people would like to recall one witness.
Proceed.
The medical examiner, Dr. Najukian.
Doctor, according to your autopsy report, Daniel Bronstein suffered fatal blows at the base of the skull. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Would you read to the court the contents of the victim's stomach as analyzed by the autopsy?
The stomach was vacuous.
Excuse me, Doctor, what does that mean?
It indicates that there were no solids deposited there.
You mean there was nothing in the victim's stomach?
Yes, sir. Nothing.
But if, as Mr. Spillane said, he and Daniel Bronstein finished dinner at 7:30, could his stomach have digested the food that fast?
No, sir.
Oh, then Louis Spillane and Daniel Bronstein could not have had dinner together.
Oh, no, sir. That would be anatomically impossible.
Thank you. Now, ladies and gentlemen, be sure you understand that a person does not have to be at the scene of a crime in order to be accused and convicted of it. There are many cases that clearly demonstrate this. So it is in the case with Louis Spillane. If he's innocent, as he claims, why did he lie about having dinner with Daniel Bronstein? Now, based on this and all the other evidence presented, the man is undoubtedly guilty. Let's look at the way he handled this business. It's pretty devious. See, he knew that Daniel Bronstein was leaving the country. He also knew if he had all identification removed from the body, set up a couple of decoys, Mitchell Small, Ace Hendricks. Well, Howard wouldn't learn of his brother's death for quite a while. Time enough for him to tell Howard that his brother had accepted his offer. See? But in order to make this scheme work, he had to convince Howard that he had had dinner with his brother. Well, the fact is, Louis Spillane never intended to take Daniel Bronstein to dinner. He had already made up his mind to kill him. Because that way he could be sure to get a partnership in the business through Howard. He never gave Daniel Bronstein the option of accepting or rejecting his offer that night because he had already ordered his execution before Daniel Bronstein ever arrived at the restaurant. Ladies and gentlemen, the people urge you to find the defendant, Louis Spillane, guilty of premeditated murder.
Bailiff will retire the jury. They will remain sequestered during their deliberation.
Gus, the grand jury didn't indict Alan Wheeler.
What?
They want corroborating testimony to go along with that phone tap. I mean, what do we do? Do we drop it?
No. That money had to pass through Alan Wheeler's hands. We just have to find out when and where.
It's not going to be easy, Gus.
I know it, anything.
Well, at least you got Spillane.
I didn't know you were on the jury.
You got him, Gus. I can feel it in my bones.
I don't know. I've lost him when I had more than this.
All rise. Be seated.
Bring in the jury. Have you reached a verdict?
Yes, we have, Your Honor. We find the defendant, Louis Spillane, guilty as charged.
jury came in.
I just heard it on the radio. Congratulations.
Thanks.
Oh, we have to go.
I know. Well, take care of Rufus.
You're gonna have to call him Rufusette.
Yeah, Rufus is pregnant.
Well, Rufus. They didn't tell me. Well, bye.
Next time I come here, will you take me to the Statue of Liberty?
Oh, there are lots of things to see, kid. Lots of things. Well, bye. Take care. Whoops. There. Take care. Bye.